here. So I'm just going to go with like a $2 bet. And obviously we've got, a lot of equity, so we don't mind a call. We could be building a pot. We do want overcards and stuff to fold, but we could be building a pot for our opponent to fold. I think I want to bet here again for the same reasons I bet on the flop. I don't know if it's correct, but I don't want to take forever to decide. But, whoa. Oh, shoot. Well, that's my bad. But, oh, no. Oh, I think, did I win? I outkicked him. So, mistake there. I didn't look at his stack size. I should have just, shoved the turn or decided what I was going to do and did it. But the reason there is that I think that when I have the pair of sevens, I still, he can definitely float with some overcards on the flop, and I still want those overcards to fold on the turn, even though I've got a 7. They still have a lot of equity against me, and I can still win a big pot on the river if I hit a flush. So I can still get hands with significant equity. I can still deny equity to my opponent by betting there, and I can still build a bigger pot in case I win, right? So 5-7 suited, I believe, is going to be a call here, yeah. So this is a call. And 6s, I think, should be a fold or call. I don't know. It's close. We'll call for now. 7-6 suited. Could be a 3-bet. There's a lot of hands all at once. Here we've got our opponent, calls, or he 3-bet. So this is a spot where I definitely think we want to check. The ace high board just crush it. The 3-bet range that has an ace. The ace high board, it just crushes our cutoff and button calling ranges usually, and we've got a decent little hand here. We've got a 3-card flush, so we could bet that, but I don't think we should. So I think I'm just going to check fold, and I think that's okay. Now you could look and say that's not actually a 3-card straight, 3-card flush. It's a 3-card flush, but it was a 3-card gutter, so not as strong as what I said. And this guy's leading out. We've got third pair and a 3-handed pot, so we'll fold our 6s. Although, not convinced that we were beat there, but I think it's just too tough to play that hand, even though we have position. Okay. A lot happened in the last 30 seconds to a minute, so I may have lost track of something I was talking about, but point is, we are denying equity with the 10-7 and building a bigger pot to win. Had I realized that we weren't, there wasn't a bigger pot that we could win because of the other guy's stack size, then I may have played it differently. But let's stay focused and keep on trucking. Yeah. I did have one session the other night that I played where I lost 3 buy-ins, and at least a couple of them were just, standard. There was one guy that was going all in a bunch of hands, and I ended up, getting in good and not ending up that way and stuff like that. So there's my results haven't been great, There's bad hands, and then there's, unfortunate hands. Here, our opponent is in the big blind. There's a lot of hands he can call with, but we definitely, same thing. I don't know exactly what his big blind calling range is, if that's exactly what happened, but we definitely want to, deny equity of his overcards and potentially, build a slightly bigger pot, not a massive pot, but, if he has King 7 suited or 6-7 or, 7-8 suited or something like that where he can call with his 7s and we can build a bigger pot to win, as well as deny the equity of his overcards. So we can accomplish 2 things with that bet. I'm going to sound like a broken record on that because I'm trying to say it out loud to myself when I think about whether or not I want to bet a hand. And that's definitely a situation where I think betting 9s is correct. I don't want to check and give free cards there. I want to deny equity to my opponent. Jack 10 offsuit. This guy has a pretty short stack, so I don't really want to raise. Again, I wish I was taking better notes, but not sure if you guys can hear that car alarm going off outside. My mic's usually pretty good about blocking stuff out, so hopefully not. But if you can hear it, I apologize. 910 offsuit may not actually be a button open. Button 910 offsuit is, 10-9 offsuit is. But it's definitely the bottom of our range, so we're going to fold it to a 3-bet. I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. Like I said, I've been using this new Evernote system to stay organized. I've been really productive, especially the last few days. So I wasn't intending to necessarily start pumping out a bunch of YouTube videos, but over the last few days it's kind of happened. So I would expect some more videos in the near future. Because I haven't really had any trouble coming up with concepts or things to talk about or anything like that, which is good. My goal right now isn't to build up my YouTube channel or to make any significant money from it. Let's check our... so we are small blind versus button. Boy. Okay, small blind versus button 5-bet. Okay, so I guess we fold. And here, I actually think this is a shove, right? I just, small blind versus cutoff. Small blind versus cutoff. Ugh, we can't call or shove. Feels like a lot of folding. That's okay. I thought so against the button, that would have been a... So what it has here for, first of all, small blind versus cutoff is a 3-bet with ace jack suited. I think everybody's on board with that. And then versus the 4-bet, small blind. Let me see, where was I? I was on the small blind. I 3-bet. So flat calling would be ace queen suited, ace king, and 10s. So pretty thin range there, or a small range. What the hell? So what am I, under the gun? Okay, that's a fold. Man, I wish I had a HUD. Like there's some, I think it's just random, not something I should really worry about too much, but it feels like I've been 3-bet a lot. Anyway, the small blind versus cutoff versus button 5-bet has ace queen suited. The small blind versus button call has ace jack suited in it, so that would be a call. I think, whoa, that's not what I want at all. Pot. Okay. Wow. Apologize. Yeah, so ace jack suited would be a call. Like we would flat that if we were in the small blind facing a button 5-bet. So we open, we get 3-bet again. This is towards the bottom of our range, so it's an easier fold. Here, I mean, we can get some aces to fold. If we bet, maybe some smaller pairs. If, like if we bet this and bet the river, there could be some, small pairs that fold. And that 6 is, I guess, better for our opponent's range than it is for ours. So I don't know that we want to bet here. Right, because like a 6 is in his range, he would check that down often, and if he had an 8 or if he's got a 9 or pretty much anything, he's probably going to call this river bet. If he flips over like ace jack, then, we missed an opportunity, but he was calling with an 8. And again, I say missed opportunity. I just mean, right now, in this exact moment, that would be unfortunate, but it doesn't mean that the play overall is wrong at all. So here, this is going to be a raise with 7s against the button and the small blind. Again, like button and cutoff stuff, I'm pretty familiar with. Not getting into the 4-bet, 5-bet stuff, but there aren't that many hands, so it doesn't take very long to look. Here, our range is definitely ahead of our opponent on a king-high board, and for all the reasons I feel like we've already kind of beat to death, I'm going to bet. The king definitely connects with our range, and our opponent has a lot of overcards that we want to deny equity, as well as we often will have the best hand here. But I don't like checking. I don't think checking is the right play here, even though it might seem like it. Now, we're also building the pot for the times we spike a 7 on the turn. So all we have to do, we got a $20 pot. That'll make a $40 pot, and we'll have about $38. So if we make this like 12, we'll have a nice shove on the river if he calls. That'll be less than, pot size bet. And that's a pretty nice bink on the turn. Okay, so he does call. We do hit the a nice hand, and we'll time down for like a few seconds, and then shove all in. Now I don't know. Maybe there's other options here, but this is what I set up to do. This was the plan, and he does call it off, and we are going to take down a nice pot right there. That's nice. So again, we weren't going to donk off all our chips or anything once he called the turn. Like, that was not what was going to happen. And that's fine. He's calling us an idiot, but obviously we know what we're doing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with our play. I like which part. He's frustrated because he just lost a bunch of money, so I get that. Like, no, that sucks. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with our play. They're, totally reasonable. Had the turn not binked, then we would have played it completely differently. But we do have the benefit when we bet like that. We protect our equity, and then when we do get called, we do have the potential to bink and win a really big pot, just like we did. Here, we've got like the nut no pair, so I don't see a lot of value in betting. We don't deny equity. There's no overcards. We've got a flush draw. We don't get anything worse to fold, or anything better to fold, except for maybe like a pair of deuces or something like that. But this player is in middle position. He should have a reasonable range, and it's not something, right? All this should make sense. So I need to do, at some point, make a video. So he checks again. I guess I could see him doing this with like ace-9, but I think he would bet to protect against like the 4th heart, unless he has like, ace-jack or, whatever with the heart. So I think I want to build a pot to win here, right? Like, we can build a bigger pot for winning if he has like a pair of, 6s through queens, or jacks more likely. And I think we just check back here, right? Like, no point in, so that's like right there. He's not going to call that, but we do build a bigger pot for when he has those hands. So I think that play makes me look like I know what I'm talking about, but you get one of those every once in a while. Nice when it's on live video. Anyway, something I also am going to make a video about. I got to figure it out, but since I don't have any hands going right now, I'll just sort of spitball. I do want to try and set up some, offer some coaching. Like, I really do feel like I could, help some people get better at poker, especially, low stakes players, and talking to people, working with people on poker, I think would be really interesting. So it's definitely something I think I can help people. And I think that I can give people like some serious work to do and be the type of like coach that I've always sort of wanted, where I, give out work and then take it back and really work through some like deep answers. I'm not talking about like, little sweat sessions or anything like that. I'm talking about like really diving into poker and getting better at the game. So what I'm thinking about, and maybe if you guys get to this, I guess this is I'm probably in the third video, it looks like. So if you guys have gotten to this point, you obviously don't mind listening to me talk and think maybe I have something to offer as far as poker goes. But my plan is most likely to do like a group coaching session. So again, haven't really thought this through entirely, but like something like 4 sessions where we get on Skype, go through some situations and I would assign essentially homework for each session. We do one a week and it'd be like a 1 month, a 1 month group. So we'd meet, 4 times. I would send out an email with the homework for the first course, prior to, and then we'd have, 4 sessions throughout the month. And it would be a lot of working through, hand ranges. And then we get together once a week as a group and go over sort of what people got for answers, narrow in on the, the differences, and then talk through exactly why hands should be going in certain ranges. Yeah, and really kind of like, I would be teaching sort of that process that I go through. Now, yeah, I mean, you can go and watch the videos and get an idea of what I do, but I think that there would be a lot of benefit for a group of people doing that and then getting, feedback directly on, you might, so like when I get, when I do that and then go into snowy and I sometimes get a hand wrong, like I can see that, I got that hand wrong, and I see what I think the right answer is, but I may just sort of like, okay, that's good, but I don't know exactly where my thought process went wrong and why it's doing that. And so that's what that's sort of what I think I could help people with, is sort of using the hand ranges and all that and developing that as a tool to find, errors in your thought process. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of that. But I want it, I like the idea of coaching. I've done a little bit of, helping people out in the past. And I really think that, again, for the right type of student, for the person that really, wants to work on their game at a deep level, I think that I have a lot I can offer. Because, I've been putting a lot of work in lately. This is we ended up here, we limped pre-flop. This guy limped. We limped with our Jack 5. We're not putting any money in. This is really just limp, see if we hit something. There's no need. They've given us such a good price that we don't need to bluff. We don't need to do anything. We were given a very good price to see a hand, with 2 suited cards. And that's really all we need to, do. If there's a great opportunity or something, maybe with some equity, but like Jack 5 suited, we just don't have the equity, right? We don't have the equity to, we don't have any robust equity. If we had some robust equity, we could, do something, but there's just no point in doing it without that. Queen 8 offsuit, I don't know, is that in our limp? Whoa, a lot of hands in our limp range. Cool, well we got a nice little double up on table 3. So that's cool. I don't know, I should have made a note at least that guy doesn't, respect my game. I don't know what to do with notes like that though. Like, I don't know, I write them down and it's like, I don't know what to, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with a note that says this guy doesn't respect my game. So it's interesting, you know, I opened the cutoff and called with Jack 8 suited. Jack 8 suited isn't even a cutoff open. I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but for now, you know, you've got to have some sort of idea of what your pre-flop range is, because if you are shifting around your pre-flop range a lot, especially while you're learning, I'm mostly talking about learning. If you're, you know all your ranges and you know what you're doing and you've got a HUD and you're adjusting your ranges based on the HUD and based on the strength of the different players, you know, that's one thing. But for me, where I'm really trying to, like, you know, learn to understand ranges of both my ranges and my opponents, I really like sticking to some pretty strict pre-flop guidelines, unless I have a great reason to do otherwise. Now, the other day, I had a guy that was, like, you know, going all in pre-flop a bunch of, so obviously I adjusted my pre-flop ranges, you know, according to that. But you know, you can't, it's hard to see where you're making a big mistake if you are, you know, not giving yourself some clear boundaries with pre-flop. And that's, like, just so basic. It's like, like, you know, poker improvement 101. So pocket nines, table 3, nothing really fancy. Threes, I don't really see any need to raise this. We got this short stack in here. We're out of position. And, yeah. 5-4 suited, it's going to be a muck. All right, cut off first under the gun. Cut off first under the gun, yeah. Again, Snowy plays relatively tight pre-flop. Button versus cut off, call 3 bets. Button versus, no, wait, button versus small blind. King hand, 4 bet, button versus small blind. He's making it really small though, right? We're getting 250 to 6. Like, he's just making it really small. He's not making it big enough to make us fold. Like, this isn't normally in our range, but again, he's making it small. Now, 10-7-3 actually is better for our range than the small blinds range here. Like, a 10 high flop, and we've got, like, a couple overcards. So here, I actually think it is correct to bet because, I mean, not correct. Like, this is pretty weak, right? King Queen offsuit is not, like, a strong hand for our for that board. Like, but again, you know, that board definitely connects with our range a lot more than it does with the 3-betters range. And because of that, I can sort of move into a little bit more of that exploitative mindset and say, well, you know, your range is super weak. I've got hands here, you don't. Plus, like, just in case I do have some outs, you know, I do have some overcards. I do have 3, you know, runner straight capability. So I do have some robust equity in my hand. Yeah. God, I'm sorry, guys. I'm got to work on the and all that stuff. It's even harder when I'm playing than when I'm, you know, analyzing. All right, 3-card flush here. Very connected board. What I'd like to do is I want to bet half pot, and if our opponent flat calls and there's a blank on the turn, it's a good opportunity to overbet. So I kind of want to just play with that idea. And the idea is that our opponent shouldn't be flat calling very much here. And when we get this, like, offsuit 3 on the turn, I think that's a pretty good opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and bet, like, $9. And yeah, now this is sort of foolish because I don't have, wow, and he just jams it all in. So that's cool. That definitely lets us get away without doing anything too stupid. So the only issue I have with this, and I think in general it's fine, but the only issue I have is that I don't have any really good robust equity in the hand anymore. So, you know, I wanted to sort of demonstrate a point because I saw a good opportunity for it. And so I took it. 8-7, I could 3-bet here. What happened? What is going on? I don't know what's happening, so I'm just going to call. I kind of like raising the flop with the 8-7 because we deny our opponent some equity of a lot of hands, and I can't just call down 3 streets with second and now third pair. So we river 2 pair. We're just gonna check back. He's got trips. And we have king queen. I think we can check, right? Again, I almost bet because it's like, oh, we've got a gut shot and high cards, and we block some of his hands that he can call with. But realistically, like we've got a pretty strong hand now. When he calls or when he checks back, I'm looking at it as, I can probably get. If I bet here and bet the river, I can get some smaller pairs to fold. Whereas I don't know if I do accomplish that on the flop, and I don't know much about his hand on the flop, right? Here, I think we call here with ace-3. MP versus small blind. Actually, we can 4-bet. Yeah, we can just make it 12. We can fold there. Bet there and raise there. Whoops. Timeout. So yeah, ace-3 suited is a pretty reasonable card to bet. We have a lot more premium hands in our range, obviously, and we've got this nice flop. Now, 4-bet ranges are a little tough because we don't have a great, what the heck do we do here as far as, bet sizing? I think like less than half, like maybe 13. We could check back too. Maybe checking back is better here. Right? Like that's fine. All right, we get a fold. There's definitely, it could have gone worse, but that didn't feel like we played it right. That ace-3 hand, I think, we don't get a lot of stuff that has a lot of equity against us to fold. Like, yeah, maybe some better aces, but obviously there aren't that many of those. Here we can get, we can get overcards to fold, but almost more importantly, we're building this pot to be bigger when we win. And yeah, getting a fold is still good. And what did we hit? Did we hit the? Oh no, it was the 10 of hearts, or it was the. Almost looked like we had a straight flush. Okay, 8, 9, 10, jack, king, and he's all in. So I think what we're gonna do is buy more chips and fold that hand, so he'd need 10 queen for the nuts. Yeah, that ace-3 hand I don't think we played right, so maybe I'll try to find that one later. Yeah, I'll try to find that one later. But again, it's a 4-bet pot. It's not something I've studied a ton. There's more work that I need to do on that, but it's just gonna take time. And if going forward, I'm gonna keep using Matthew Janda's book to keep working through some problems, but I'll also use hands that I play, and I'll start marking them off. After the session. We got the min raise. We can definitely call here. So, but I mean, right? Like, I don't know, raising just seems easier. We can call, but we get a min raise and then a call, and there's a lot of dead money, and we're not in position. So, like, taking this down pre-flop is a pretty good option. And in general, versus a cutoff open, ace-jack should be a 3-bet, right? So 3-bet, we're in the big blind versus cutoff. No, not quite. Yeah, because we're getting really good odds, and actually we're getting even better odds on that one. Sort of the same thing we've talked about before. Is why I'm betting here. I mean, we do have some weird straight outs. This guy's stack is annoying. If he shoves, he might, just shove a lot. I think I've seen him doing that from time to time. But our range is definitely ahead of his. Let me think. Actually, on an 8 high board, that was probably bad. In retrospect, I think that's a check back, because on an 8 high board, that's like the only time the 3-bet range, like that 8 high and 10 high board, those are the times where our 3-bet range is pretty far behind, or even with. Like it doesn't do good things for our equity. So we got lucky there, I think, and I think that was a